NBC News can now report that oyster farmer and Marine Corps veteran Graham Platner has been projected to be the Democratic nominee in the Maine Senate race. He defeated incumbent Governor Janet Mills, who suspended her campaign back in April. And in South Carolina, the Republican primary for the governor's mansion is going to go to a runoff on June 23rd between Lieutenant Governor Pamela Yvette, endorsed by President Trump, and State AG Alan Wilson. Also in that state, we can project that Senator Lindsey Graham will avoid a runoff after facing a primary challenge from businessman Mark Lynch. Also earlier tonight, we projected the latest out of last week's California gubernatorial race. Republican Steve Hilton now projected to advance to the primary race for governor, pulling past billionaire progressive Tom Steyer, meaning Hilton will face Democrat Javier Becerra in the general election in November. Let's bring in our chief Capitol Hill correspondent, Ryan Nobles, who is in Blue Hill for us tonight. And Ryan, a very loud crowd behind you. Platner surviving a bunch of controversies to get here, and yet we still have quite some time before the general election, right?
Yeah, that's right, Gotti. And what we heard tonight from Graham Platner was a clear preview of what we expect to be one of the most competitive Senate races in the country, a Senate race that could end up determining who wins the majority, Republicans or Democrats, as Democrats hope that this is a state that they can win back and defeat the long-term incumbent Susan Collins. And Graham Platner did not talk at all about these controversies that are surrounding his campaign, but he did wave at it a little bit at the beginning of his remarks, saying that he's glad to live in a country of second chances that gives people second chances. Of course, talking about his long struggle, talking about how he served his country in the military and then came back here to Maine and determined that he needed to do something to make things better for people in the working class. But I have to tell you, Gotti, he spent most of his time tonight going after his new opponent now, his opponent in the general election, and that's the long-term incumbent Susan Collins. He accused her of selling out the people of Maine for corporate lobbyists, for hundreds of millions of dollars in defense contracts. He hammered her for her votes to confirm Supreme Court justices like Brett Kavanaugh that ultimately voted to end Roe v. Wade, and basically said that her time has passed, that she had promised to only run for 2 terms, and now she's asking for a 6th term in the United States Senate. And what's interesting about this race and the pitch that Graham Platner is making to the voters of Maine is that Maine is a small state, but it has an opportunity to have a big.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.